You need referees, which is the common problem as we're talking about anybody in the soccer world about anything. It gets back to two things. Can you guess what it is?
Referees and coaches?
Not enough referees. And the referees that are out there have the wrong, they could have a better attitude, maybe. And so they're out there like they think this is their little, they come out and they're like, they're in charge. There's like a police state mentality, like everybody's like, it's oppressive. But it should be conducive. Yeah. And that's what the art of positive refereeing is all about. So the common problem is we need referees. Every league, everything. And not only do we need referees, but we need competent referees. Yeah. So now we're like, oh yeah, it's one thing to get people to volunteer and say, okay, or get paid $30 or whatever a game or whatever to do a game. But another thing to have them be good and have them be what they should be. And like I said, hopefully we'll edit this thing around so it doesn't get all juxtaposed out of position. But the art of positive refereeing has basically a few essential purposes, and that number one, in my opinion, is to protect all participants from injury. That's number one. That's it. Boom. Protect all participants due to pitch conditions and or each other before, during, and after a match. That's the number one thing. If it's lightning, who gets to make that call?
That would be rough.
It's only one person. It's not. That's the way it is. And it's why? Because we don't want them to get struck by lightning and die. It's all about the referee has to make crucial decisions. Oh, but this is a big game, and the next team goes on to this, and we just travel by bus for 4 hours, and we have to play this game. And you're the referee. It's responsibility is bestowed upon you to look at those clouds, hear the lightning count, whatever it is, and make a determination based on what? We have to get this game in because it's the schedule of the state, or we don't have to get this game in because these kids are alive now and they should be alive 4 hours from now. We can always reschedule the game, but we can't reschedule the kids. Number two, you have to interpret and enforce the rules of the game from a competent and fair point of view as the match occurs and thereby control the flow of the play. Interpret and enforce the rules of the game. And then what I think is the keynote of what we're all about here, is to encourage good sporting behavior and cooperation between captains, crew, players, spectators, and coaches. And who's the maestro? Who's the referee? He controls it all. And you think, and some people may think a referee is just out there for somebody to yell at and correct, because from their 1 degree angle where they saw things was different from your angle, wherever you may be, that you get to be a critic, have a critique on that referee's point of view. You don't, and you shouldn't. You should appreciate the fact that the guy or the person showed up, and they're out there doing a job to protect your player, and you can enjoy a good game. Why would you want to ruin it for everybody there and everybody around you, embarrass the player you're associated with? God, I wish my dad or my mom would just shut up. I hear this when I'm refereeing games. That's my dad. I know it. They're embarrassed. You're not helping. So that's basically it. And we have the tools in the trade. We're coming up with this whole thing here. And here it is. This is the tangible. This is what it's all about. This is the tangible art of positive refereeing. The Good Sport Award, and you can go register onto this soccergreencard.com and you keep a record of all the different awards you've gotten. Let's see if there comes something on just for historical, so we're not crazy. I spoke last week on the last podcast about Ken Aston, the creator of the red and the yellow card. I even have his card from Ken Aston. When he was shown when he was shown, he didn't get the fancy. He didn't get to see the fancy one. We just showed him a blank green card. When we showed him a blank green card, he said it was a splendid idea. The people from AYSO, Hans Sterling and his family and wife and people at the dinner table at a national meeting, they couldn't come up with adjectives grand enough to describe the concept. Here it is back on June 6th. Is that 97, right? 1997?
Yeah, there you go, 97.
Richard Bradwell, my wife Nancy Bradwell, Bob Blackburn, and Mary Blackburn, we created the first green card. Right here. Dated and signed. Bob is no longer with us. But his wife and his son Danny and Crystal, they're still with us. I'm hoping Danny, as we contact you, will be interested in being on the advisory board. That's one of the main purposes for this podcast today, is get the word out that we're ready to launch this thing. After 97, I can't do the math, but it seems like 25 years after the original concept. But Bob Blackburn, can I go over the story about how that even came about?
Yeah.
Okay, we're lining the fields. Bob's a very smart guy. So we're lining the fields at like 11 o'clock at night because everybody works. It's hard to get volunteers to paint the field. So he came up with a laser beam. He came up with a little laser pen, tied it on the front of the paint machine, and then he put the little stakes with the reflectors on it where we had to paint. So we would just paint towards everything. And this is dark. This is dark out. Can't really see much. At the end of the day, we got done. Must admit, we opened up a couple of beers, and the bottles were green bottles. I think it was Beck's or Heineken. I'm not sure. I think it was Beck's. And we were bemoaning the fact that we're staying up all night doing all this, and in a few hours we're going to come out and change our outfits and be referees in soccer games. And for all this effort to make these perfect fields, we'll be blowing the whistle and calling fouls, and it's just like something went off in our heads. That like, how about besides the yellow and the red card to control the pitch management of the game, how about if we made a green card and recognize the players for being good, having good behavior? The ball was way out of bounds. Instead of just letting it go, they go get it and give it to the other player for a corner kick or something. Just being good, just like without even thinking about it. What happens if a referee notices that and rewards them for that? So yeah, we still get tired of just being negative, blowing with people yelling at you. Like, we went through all this effort to make a perfect field, which we couldn't even see. So we came up with this concept. This was on a Friday night. So anyway, we came up with it. The next day, the fields are beautiful. Come out and look at the fields. They're like, this is the first time I think anybody's even done this. Line the fields in the dark with laser things, and they were perfect. It was unbelievable because we couldn't really tell at night. We lined 5 fields that night, just the 2 of us, maybe 3 of us. Anyway, Monday we had a game. I think it was St. Brendan's girls. I think I may have mentioned this in the last podcast. They lost the game 14-0 or something. But right before the game, Bob Blackburn came and handed me a green card through the fence and says, hey, maybe you could use these, So he came by the field I was at. And I did. At the end of the game, I awarded the first green card to the goalkeeper of St. Brendan. Yeah, just like that. Nobody had any idea what I was doing. It was the first time I wasn't even sure what I was doing. But I know the reaction was like unbelievable. They picked up the goalkeeper. Their own teammates picked up the goalkeeper and were carried around the field while the team that had just gave her a standing ovation and applaud. People got cameras out. It was an incredible moment. I called Bob Blackburn that night. I said, we're on to something. We're on to something big. This could change everything. For the players, for the spectators, for the referees. Just from that first moment, I said, this is powerful. And then now 25 years later. But in the interim, we've experimented with AYSO. I refereed high school games, 15 years of high school. I used it intermittently in appropriate situations there, just kind of like testing out. It's never, ever had one person say anything like, I don't like that. I don't like that concept. That cheapens the game. It mamby-pamby, nothing like it. Everybody's like, great. Just like Ken Aston, a splendid idea. Now it has to be more than an idea, Will. We have to take it to the next level, and that's what this is all about. We have a letter here, which I propose to be sending out in the next day or two, asking for certain people to be involved. So hopefully, if you get one of these letters from Will and I, the time is now and right to bring the art of positive refereeing to the scene of soccer contests wherever possible. That's what we want to do. We have a certification process, a green card power, where you can take a test, very short test, not really a test, whatever, an evaluation or something. Just you get the idea. So you're not just giving green card for scoring a good goal. That's not what this is about. This is not about being necessarily a great player, doing a great play, or doing a great save as a goalkeeper. Now, that's just part of the game. This is exceptional good sporting behavior above and beyond the expectations of the game already. So we have proof that we invented this concept. We have videos of this concept being presented at a national level. It goes back, we have the endorsement of Ken Aston himself, the person who invented the red and yellow card, who thought it was a splendid idea. Now we have these individual cards that can be made out for any particular. This could be a good sport award, a region, blah, 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 or Rush Soccer Organization, or Southern Soccer Coalition. You can identify yourself with all your records. You can keep them, sure. If a person, even an adult, were given this, they would not throw this away. This is I don't see that happening. These are something, and they'll show it to people. We have how to introduce yourself when you show up at the pitch. Like you said, when you're adjusting your socks and stuff, don't just come walking out there like you're here to rule the game. No, be human. Tell them why you're there. Tell them you're not interested in who wins or loses. That's not your point. This introduces yourself to them in Spanish or in English. Like I said, when I go out, one of my favorite things when I did referee was going on the field is open up my wallet and just showing them my cards and like, what's everybody going to say? What's the green one? Right? I mean, then you get to explain what the green card is all about. I mean, over time, there have been efforts to try and control the spectators on the sidelines with an official caution due to the unsportsmanlike conduct of a spectator, this match, all this kind of stuff. There's effort. There have been feeble efforts to kind of discipline the spectators and the coaches by embarrassing them or calling them out. This hardly ever is even necessary when they know who you are and what you're doing out there. They'll give them a tendency to give you a break. And maybe one day you want to be a referee themselves. In fact, even in high school, they came out with a contest official pre-game statement. We had to read this to the coaches and the referees before every game. Didn't do anything. Nobody, but they see this. They see this. They're not listening to this. They're thinking about it. They see this. This is something they want. They want to get this. They want it. I'm just telling you. You guys don't know this yet, but I've done this for 15 years. Their eyes light up. There's something they want, and they can get it. But all they got to do is play the game the way it was intended, in a positive manner. I'm not trying to hurt you. You're not playing against the referee. A lot of people think, the referee's going to get me up to that level. No, you're playing with the referee. You're playing together on the field. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking at Herbalife, maybe a sponsor. They're involved with AYSO. We're looking for Nicholas
Children's Hospital.
I think they may be interested. We even have one of our people even came up with at the national meeting a green card pledge. This is not our day. This is somebody else that hold the idea. This is so important that before people can be certified to get this patch, they have to basically sign or pledge what this is all about. Raise your right hand. I state my name. Richard Bradwell, Will Bradwell, do hereby solemnly pledge to faithfully discharge my duty as a green card referee for the benefit of the community and AYSO. I think it could be AYSO and whatever, or just for the benefit of the community, period. That's it. Simple. This is simple. This is not hard. This test, this evaluation thing is simple. This is how we advertise it once. You are invited to the referee banquet and training clinic. You got free shirts, you got free dinner, and look at some of the comments we made. What a splendid idea. The most significant event in the history of the game of football, refereeing, a most monumental evening in sports history. This promises to be the most significant event of this century anywhere in this world. Of course, most of these comments I made up myself, but you can see there's a lot of fun in this as well. Kids want to be recognized. Players want to be recognized. Referees want to be recognized. But they want to be recognized for what? For being an over-disciplinarian or that referee again, oh man, he gave 5 red cards the last game. Or they want to be recognized like, oh, he or she, they're a referee. Oh, they're great. We have the green, we have the patch on our shirts, on the sleeve or wherever it be determined. Will, you have something you'd like to add here while I ramble on?
No, not too much. As I'm coming across this, my dad has collected so many things over the years of all of his notes, all of his outreach, all of his community stuff, that as I begin to go back through it all and redigest it all and reprocess it, and as I'm starting to build up our Facebook page and our community, just seeing what refereeing is like out there in the world now, and such a shortage that so many teams and leagues are facing, that they're practically begging referees to come out. It just shows that now it's as relevant as ever, and even more so with just the kind of feedback and negative feedback that the referees still have as a connotation in them, that it's turning people off from the game. It's forcing games to be canceled throughout the country. And the solution is here. We know what it is. My dad has experienced it just talking to other youth soccer organizers around and putting on referee clinics that I got to see one in Atlanta when we did it back in 2008. That this concept, once it's shown to referees, it changes their mindset. They're no longer scared of going out there. What are they going to face from the staff, from the coaches, from the parents? They actually look forward to being out there. And I know from my life what vibration you give off is the thing you get back too. So if a referee is going out there with some anxiety over how the participants are going to take him and how he's going to interact with everybody, that just kind of reverberates throughout the crowd. So if you go out there with positivity, with a new approach to the game that parents haven't seen, the coaches haven't seen before, it can make a difference, not just for the referee, not just for the coaches, but for the players as well. My dad's told some stories before of giving out these cards and the way it changes that child's life, that person's life, as they grow up and they know that they were recognized for doing something good. And it changes the whole sport around. Once you've done it a while and you see that same referee come out again, instead of seeing that, oh, this is that referee, oh, they were really tough on us last time, oh, they forgot to call this one thing that we feel like they should have called, even if it wasn't actually the proper call, it changes their response to you and their respect for you as a referee. So by doing this and engaging in this process and educating yourself in a new way to be a referee in the community, you can make a positive impact on many lives. And who doesn't want that? So that's why we're doing this. Like I said, after 25 years, my dad first coming up with the concept, as I'm growing into my life as a parent with a son that I hope to have play soccer one day as well. And I want to know that going out into the sport, going out to games can be a positive experience, and the connotation of the negativity surrounding game doesn't have to be there anymore. And bringing this about, getting it out to as many people as possible through the help of other sponsors and other participants that we invite on this journey with us to be part of our advisory board as we put together a nonprofit around this concept, to get the word spread out as much as possible. Because I've seen, just in my little bit of researching, the world out there needs it and would love it. And right now we're just two people with a box full of notes and stories, but getting it out there to more people and getting more stories and those stories telling other people ad nauseum would be excellent to behold. And we'd love to have you on the journey and have anybody else out there on the journey with us. So we have our website, we have our YouTube that we're building, we have our podcast. We want to make it easy for people to consume this knowledge and to be a part of it. So comment, email us, positivereferee@gmail.com. Any of your thoughts and ideas. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. We're going to have a TikTok. We're going to have everything so that anybody out there that's facing this issue in their league.
Administrator of a program, a referee, anybody. Person just tired of watching games. I can do that. Well, you can do this. You can do this. And if you're not coming through and having to change from one way to another, it's even easier. If you were one style referee and you say, hey, this is great. Well, that's one way of doing it. Or like, I'd like to get in some shape. You get the best view of the game by being on the field. You like kids, you can hang out with kids. You can congratulate them for doing good. You can like, hey man, don't do that. You can be interactive with your community in a really positive way. I say for so long, the image of a soccer referee has been shaped by several social factors, usually resulting in an automatic and a defensive attitude. I mean, just you can't yell at everybody in life, but you can yell at umpires. You can yell at referees. That's the only authority figure you can actually voice your opinion at in a really nasty way in public, and that's okay. Yeah, Rob, you suck. No, that's got to change. So anyway, part of the program that we're promoting here is if you register with us, you get a little package we'll send out: the green whistle, an official green cards, and a little packet of green cards to give out. Our patch, certification card. After you pass the test, you get a certification that you are an official green card. There's other things you can do too also, like your whole program can become a positive soccer experience, and your corner flags could be green. You could paint the lines on the field green if you want to get crazy about it, so everybody knows this. The kids know, and they say, hey, this place is made for me to come and have fun in a safe environment. The people that must run this place, they're cool. I like this place. You can get that image out. The player protective pads on the goalpost, so nobody splits their head going for a shot on goal. Make them green. We have a video course. You can take us. We can come and travel to a course right there at your facility. We can do that. We can do it over the social media as well. It's about a 2 to 3 hour course involving the course and having something to eat together, something to drink together as well. So it's about 2 3 hour evening. And the course itself is relatively quick. But the conversations that evolve from everybody's new input is so exciting to me and us, because we're so new. We're wrapped up in our own little orbit, and a few people that have got involved with it back in the day, have them tell us their experience and what they did under circumstances and how they watched the kids' eyes light up when they were given a card, and they didn't expect it. And they're like, that's what's all happening. It's all out there for you. It's an invitation. I have a list of about 15 people I'd like to have be on the initial advisory board, so we know how to go from here, how to direct sponsorships, national education program, how we can get involved with the right thing. I'd like to get. I'm going to Portugal next week. I hope I'm going to run into Ronaldo, but I know I'm going to run it by him. I think in one of the greatest games and greatest experience where I saw, even at that level, being a good sport is the right thing to do. I think that Cavani, he was playing at Cavani. Yeah. He was playing. I think it was an elimination match between Portugal and Italy, perhaps.
Uruguay.
Anyway, Ronaldo was outplayed that game. Clearly outplayed that game, and Cavani got hurt. Ronaldo walked up. I remember he put his arm around his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Nobody else came near this injured player. He lay on the field, and Ronaldo walked over, picked arm, and walked him off the field. Stunned. I still get goosebumps at that. I can't remember in any sport ever seeing anybody do that, from bowling to golf to baseball to football. I've never seen it the other opposite help up an injured player and take him to safety before. I've never seen that. Well, anyway, if I can find Ronaldo, I'm going to remind him of that wonderful moment, how it kind of inspired me to be part of this positive thing. I know Lionel Messi had a game in Miami a few years ago where he played all his best players from around. Terrible, because it was a pouring rain and nobody really knew about it. But I think the whole rule of the game was no fouls. You can't touch the other person on the other team. This is just a skill game. They want this. The players want this. From 5-year-olds or their first time in the field, they don't want to have somebody that's going to be kicking them and crying. Up to a professional, the highest paid athlete in the world, instinctively knows it's right to be good. So the spectrum is as wide as it can possibly be. The players want it. We need it. We'll say every program, what's your problem? We don't have enough referees. I mean, you paid them $100 a game. Would that make a difference? Probably not. It's not the question of money. It's a question of who's going to be the person to go out there and do this. Well, if you look at it from the way it's always been, well, you're just the person who's going to get yelled at for the next hour and a half, and nobody's going to appreciate you. Well, no wonder we're having problems getting anybody to do this, especially when time's valuable and, life's going on. But the players want to be recognized for being good. Everybody's so do we. As referees now, we're being recognized. So the whole thing comes all the way back, maybe the selfish way, but hey, it's nice when somebody says, good job, referee. And that person that just told you that is the coach who just lost the game 6-5, and you called a penalty shot in the last 3 minutes of the game, and that referee and that coach comes over and says, "Good job, referee." That's your goal. That is your goal, to be appreciated. And I guess all my years of refereeing, maybe I'm just lucky. I don't think anybody's ever gotten hurt or taken to the hospital. That's not what the game's about. You don't tolerate that. You don't have to just red card and yell, because some players like that. Hey, high five, I got a red card, and they get thrown off the field. No, that's not the way it should be. They should be getting a high five for after getting a green card and going over to get a drink. That's what it should be about. Anyway, I could go on, and I could, because this is I'm 73 years old, and this is such a powerful concept. It really has to be out there. Like I said, we know enough people now. We've done this enough. Over the last few years now, Will has put together this whole package of cards and advertising. Now we got this podcast going out. I think the time is right. COVID's over. Kids are coming out. But we're coming out with a new attitude. We're not coming out to hurt each other. We're coming out with that. How can we get along safely together? And from that premise, the whole world can be a better place. Soccer changes the world.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
That's good.
So, contact us.
Yeah.
Sign up. Get on our mailing list, so to speak.
Yeah.
And get your viewpoint in. Ask some questions. We love to build on your things, like something we haven't thought of yet. The games go on every week. There's how many games? There's 12 million amateur soccer players in the United States, and divide that and have how many games are actually going on? We need referees. We need referees to go like this at the front of the game. I got everything I need to do this game. I'm not going to need this. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. Tell you what, you don't believe me? I challenge you. Referee a game, any age, high school. You do what I just did right there. Go out there with those 3 cards and challenge the players to live up to the expectations of the game. It's not a violence. This is not ice hockey on grass. This is different. The players want to be happy. The referees want to be happy. The spectators, they don't need to be yelling at people and embarrassing themselves. They need to be enjoying the game. And this, I don't know any other way. Looking at soccer, I don't know any other way that could change all of that than go to the person that controls all the environment. And that's the referee, the person. Just think, 1997, when we came up with this, it was unheard of to even think of an instant replay or a goal scoring. Nothing. The referees were total in control. There was no earphones and instant replays in the boxes, and none of this was happening in 1990. No, center referee was it. You had lines people. They weren't even assistant referees then. There was one person had control of everything, and that was the way it was for a long time. And for a reason, those guys didn't want it to change. But the necessity of the technology of the game and the truth matters now. Now it's not the opinion of a referee. Now the truth matters. Did that ball go out of bounds? Did it go in? Did he hit that guy's arm before it would? All these things are factors now. Now we can even entertain the thought of something now so far out of the box. I mean, soccer didn't start with a yellow and red card. That came along as the game kind of deteriorated. We're like, hey, players are getting a little out of control. Ken asked us, we got to do something about that. As the game evolved a little bit further along, well, that's not enough. Now, if you get 2 yellow cards, now you miss the next match, or you get this, or it's a $5 zillion fight. That's not enough. That's not solving the problem. That's not getting referees out there on Saturday morning across the country. That's not getting high school games between rival parts of the community handled by referees that can handle that situation. You can't go in there. Duh. You got to go in there with a program. Hey kids, I'm here let's try this out today. Let's see how few times I have to blow the whistle. Just for curiosity's sake. Challenge the players to play the game without having to blow. Do I have to blow the whistle every time the ball goes out of bounds? Or is it obvious? Pick the ball and give it to the other player, for crying out loud. Yeah. Do I have to blow the whistle and do the? Come on. You'd be amazed how kids respond to that when they realize you're a referee. Like, gee, that drives me nuts. And you're playing, you get that whistle blowing in your ear. Doesn't that drive you crazy? Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to hear me blowing the whistle at you? Yeah. And even during the game, you call foul and you walk up and say, you really have to do that? You really? Come on. Then you blow the whistle. I said, you can have fun going through the game like that. And kids remember this. Anyway, I could go on and on, but this is what happened when you expose this positive concept to the pitch, to the sport, to the teams. I said, no one has ever, I've run this by a lot of people, and out with dinner, the people that know nothing about soccer, I bring this up and they're like, you should do something with that. You should do something with that. But Will said, Dad, and my other son, Destin, and Ryan, Dad, you got to do something with that. And with the passing of my dear friend Bob Blackburn in a terrible motorcycle accident a few years ago, he kind of left it on to me. And then my son said, no. Let's make this happen. So thanks to Will and what we're doing now, it is happening. Excuse me. Miami Cuban coffee, nothing but the best. So please, I'm going to send this out. I'm going to have 15 people. I'm going to invite to be on the advisory board. We're going to have a meeting, and it's probably the second week in October 2022. And we'll see what we can do. Be a part of it. The advisory board could have 50 people on it, or it could have 12. It doesn't really matter. As long as you got good advice or a good opinion, you like to share, let's be part of this thing. This could be an ever-expanding universe of positive. Next thing you know, you can see guys in the NFL throwing green flags. Why not?
Yeah.
Guys ready to crush the quarterback instead, rolls off. Boom. Maybe a corporate sponsor. Maybe you're connected with a company that'd like to be associated with this, and we could give a gift or awards program. As kids get their good deeds recorded, you know. Well, hey, how about every green card referee gets a dinner at Olive Garden or something, you know, once a year.
Mhm.
Let's have an Olive Garden kind of event, you know. Sponsor something for green card referees on a Monday night or a Saturday night. Have them come to your restaurant. Do a banquet for the green card referees. Sponsors. Let's have your facilities to put on a clinic. Buy a plane ticket for us and we'll fly up to Chicago or something and put on a clinic in person for the weekend. Go out, oversee the implementation of it on the next day of a Friday night clinic, Saturday night games, and we'll fly back home on Saturday night. We'll do anything. We'll do anything we can do at this point to get this program launched in our lifetimes so we can see it. Because I know it's just going to be a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Come on the journey with us. We look forward to hearing back from you all, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.